Hi there. Here we are at the Cathedral Church of the Nativity. I am Canon Dale Grandfield, and I am here today again with
Cathy Bailey.
Cathy Bailey. We are grateful to be here, and this is our fifth in our conversation series during this season of creation that we are marking and celebrating together here at the Cathedral, a season in which we remark and marvel at God's creation and also commit ourselves anew to the ways that we are called as faithful people to be good stewards of what God has given us and God's great work in creation. So Cathy, what's our topic?
Well, I think we're going to talk about how we grow things. So let's talk about farming and ranching and for deforestation, so trees and what we do with trees.
Great. Those all seem to be coherently part of one big practice.
Big issue, yes.
So farming.
It really releases a lot of, the industrial farming releases a lot of methane gas and carbon dioxide.
Mm-hmm.
So
large scale.
Those large scale farms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, one of the things we can always think about is, can we support smaller farms, sustainable farms? Mm-hmm. People who have gardens in their home, that's like the ideal situation because you're actually putting carbon dioxide into the earth if you're not using those big industrial things that release that carbon dioxide. And of course, supporting local sustainable farms would be a great way to do that.
Community gardens.
Yes, community gardens are a wonderful way.
And also a great way to build community.
This is true, yes.
Right, so it helps us from an interpersonal standpoint as well as being in better care of the earth and our environment.
And then when we think about ranching, those animals are being raised for meat. So if that's something that we can give up a little bit of, that may be a great way of decreasing the amount of damage to the earth from those ranching practices.
That makes sense. And it's not a bad thing also for us personally to not consume as much meat as we tend to culturally as U.S. Americans, right?
And then I didn't think about it, but a lot of animals are raised for things like clothing and
wools
and leathers and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So think about
that. So being able to use the thrift shop, for example, to buy what has been secondhand also helps because that cuts down significantly on the amount of purchasing brand new, right?
Yeah. But the one thing that I'm excited about, because I think I can, and I think we all can do something significant, is about deforestation and cutting down trees.
How so?
And well, there's so much. First of all, when you cut down a tree, there's like double damage to the earth. So first of all, there's the damage because we've hurt the environment by releasing all that energy that it takes to cut down the tree. But then we've also taken the tree away, and the tree is one of the primary ways that carbon dioxide is maintained on the earth. So the trees use that carbon dioxide. Right. So if the tree's not there, it can't take the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. As
they said when I was in grade school, the forests are like the lungs of the earth, right? And so cutting them down means we're literally cutting off the earth's ability to respire and to rejuvenate in its own way.
And I don't know the exact numbers, but the amount of forests that are being cut down is just mind-boggling about how much that is happening.
Yes. And how are we connected to that? What is it that I'm doing?
Anything paper. So loose leaf paper, notebooks, all of that kind of stuff is created from trees.
Of course.
But the thing I really worry about is paper towels and toilet paper and tissues. So those are things that we just use and throw away without even really realizing that was a tree.
Yep.
So I don't have paper towels on my counter anymore. I have a stack of cloth.
Yes.
So whether it's washcloths or dish rags or some kind of thing, that I use, and I can tell you it's been such an easy switch.
Yeah, same for us. We've switched over for our dishwashing to reusable cloths, and also to our napkins. We bought.
Oh,
we
I have that too.
Went and bought a stack of. In fact, the thrift shop. A stack of reusable napkins that we can wash, and that has significantly cut down on our disposable paper. And I admit to you, Cathy, well, my mindset used to be, well, at least I know, unlike plastics, single-use papers are biodegradable, so they're going to the landfill or whatever, and they're going to degrade. But what I wasn't thinking about in my mindset, where I needed to repent a little bit, was of the front end of that, which is what does it take for me to get this napkin or this paper towel, and all of the trees that have to be cut down to produce the volume of those that we use on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, it's easy to think about the paper part of garbage, but it's not. I same thing. I didn't really think about how it was created.
Interesting.
Now, toilet paper and tissues are a little more sensitive area because not too many of us are willing to give those up.
That's right. That's true. I agree.
Now, it is a little more expensive, but they've been making toilet paper and tissues out of bamboo, which is very energy efficient and rejuvenates itself. I don't know how you say that. Grows very quickly.
Yes.
So I've actually just recently purchased some toilet paper that was made out of bamboo, and you cannot tell the difference. Literally,
really?
You can't tell the difference.
And you can get that offline somewhere?
You can get it online. You can get it in the grocery stores. That, again, it's a little more expensive, so cost prohibitive for some people, I am sure. But it definitely really is an easy switch to use bamboo.
Great. Well, it could be that we invest in the short term in a thing that our European siblings use, a bidet, right? And that means that, and so there are ways to get around the usage of the massive usage of toilet paper, right? Yeah. And tissue, obviously, you can actually carry a handkerchief. That was the way it used to be, right?
And you wash. It used to be that way.
Right.
That kind of grosses some people out.
Sure, of course. I'm sure it does, Cathy. I'm sure it does. I know that about you.
Yeah,
but it's a possibility, a possible way of solving the issue of constantly single use and toss. Single use and toss. And the rainforests in Brazil, I'm sure, and other places.
Yes. Canada, up in the northern part of Canada, is being hit really bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think about this. There are real local examples of this. Like if you drive up 248 headed towards Lehighton and Bowmanstown, for example, you can see the side of the mountain that was deforested and for mining purposes. And even 50 years later, it's still trying to regrow. And so those are not resources that are easily re-opt, right? They're resources that take a long time, generations to recoup. And so it makes sense that we would need to be a little bit more thoughtful about the ways that we do those things.
Yeah. And I'm excited because next week, October 17th and 18th, is our big event.
It is.
Our big action days, Faith for Climate Justice. We're going to be standing outside of Nativity and outside of Central Moravian Church on Main Street.
And we want people.
We want people.
A good group.
Just stand out there with us. You don't have to say anything. We might hand you a little banner to hold, but
come on out.
You just got to be there with us.
Yep. It'll be good fellowship. It'll be a good time to be together.
Yep.
Great.
So Sunday, October 17th from 3 to 4 o'clock outside of Nativity here.
Only an hour.
Only an hour. Mm-hmm. And Monday from 4:30 to 5:30.
Mm-hmm. And invite your youth and your kids, because this is an issue that is of significance and importance to our younger generations as well. Climate justice and creation care.
And you can reach out to Dale or myself if you have questions about that, or if you want to know more about that.
For sure.
Our emails are everywhere.
That's true. Thank you, Cathy.
Yeah, it was great talking to you again.
See you next week.
Next week.